Let me tell you about the day my life turned into something straight out of a bad TV drama. The president of our HOA, Karen Blake, decided she could just waltz into my home using a master key. And her excuse? A so-called emergency mold inspection. The kicker? The only thing toxic that morning was the look on her face when she realized 2 police officers were already sitting in my living room, waiting. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's rewind. The chaos started at the ungodly hour of 5 a.m. The world outside was still cloaked in that strange purple haze, the kind of light you only see before the sun drags itself over the horizon. I'll be honest, I'm not a 5 a.m. kind of guy. I'm barely a 9 a.m. kind of guy. My name's Mark Adler, and before coffee, my greatest daily achievement is not tripping over my own feet. So when I hear a dull thud on my front door, followed by that sticky sound of paper being slapped against wood, I figure it's a flyer, maybe a coupon for pizza, or some handyman's business card. I roll over, hoping to ignore it. My wife, Sarah, is still blissfully asleep. Lucky her. But then, another thud. This time, not on my door, but my neighbor's. Then another. And another. It's like a gang of extremely well-organized woodpeckers has decided to target the neighborhood. Fine. I'm awake now. Dragging myself out of bed, I throw on some jeans and stumble toward the door. The floor is ice cold, and my eyes can barely adjust to the dim morning light. Through the peephole, I see her, Karen Blake. HOA president. Self-appointed queen of the neighborhood. She's strutting around in designer workout gear that probably costs more than my entire car, clutching a clipboard in one hand and a stack of bright red tags in the other. With a smug little smirk, she slaps one onto my neighbor Trent's door. It makes this sharp smack, like she's casting some ridiculous curse on all of us. Then she notices me watching. No smile, no wave. Just a curt nod, the kind a general gives to a lowly soldier who should be grateful for the leadership. I crack open my door. The morning air is sharp and crisp, but it smells more like trouble than fresh grass. My voice is groggy when I call out, Karen. Bit early for arts and crafts, don't you think? Without missing a beat, she points at the bright red paper she's already plastered on my door. The words practically scream at me, danger, do not enter. Potential toxic mold hazard. Perfect. Another thing to worry about. As if bills and trash day weren't enough. This is not a craft project, Mark, she says, her voice sickly sweet, but with this razor-sharp edge underneath. This is a public health emergency. We have reason to believe there's been an outbreak of Stachybotrys chardarum in the community. She says the scientific name like she's been rehearsing it in the mirror. To me, it sounds like she's reciting a spell. For all I know, she just cursed my house into being a frog. English, Karen, I grumble. It's 5 in the morning. Use small words. She sighs dramatically, like I'm the biggest burden in her day. Black mold, Mark. Toxic black mold. It's very dangerous. We have to act fast. And as if on cue, a white van with no markings pulls up. Out step 2 guys in matching vests that say Everpure Environmental. But they don't look like scientists. They look like the kind of guys who'd try to sell you speakers from the back of that very van. Each is carrying a metal briefcase and wearing an expression far too serious for this early in the morning. Karen lowers her voice, like she's letting me in on a dark secret. For your safety, entry is forbidden until Everpure conducts an air quality test. Now, here's the thing, HOA master keys are supposed to be used only for genuine emergencies, like fire or flood. Never for inspections. What she's trying to do? Completely illegal. I glance at the tag. Then at the so-called inspectors. Then back at Karen, who is practically trembling with this fake concern. My house isn't a biohazard. It's where I watch bad TV and eat cereal for dinner. It smells like detergent and Sarah's questionable collection of scented candles, not doom. So let me get this straight, I say, rubbing my eyes. You're telling me I can't go into my own house? It's for your own good, she coos, patting my arm like I'm a child. The inspection team will be here at 8 sharp. Just a formality. Nothing to worry about. Right. Nothing Karen Blake does is ever just a formality. She thrives on control. She wants power over everything, the air I breathe, the walls I live in, probably even what brand of toothpaste I buy. And my gut tells me this has nothing to do with mold. What if I don't want your people in my house? I ask. Her smile fades. Now it's just sharp edges. Mark, this isn't optional. This is an emergency declaration under HOA bylaws, Section 9, subsection C. We have the authority to act for the community's well-being. She says, well-being, like it's a threat. The Everpure guys stand behind her, arms crossed, silent. Karen gives me one last look, a look that says, I'm in charge here. Don't forget it. Then she marches off to plaster more doors with her red warnings. I stand there barefoot on the cold concrete, staring at the angry paper stuck to my own door. It's more than just a notice. It's a message: this isn't your house anymore. It's mine to control. And right then, I knew this wasn't about mold. It was about power. Karen had just started a war. A quiet war fought with clipboards, red tags, and fake emergencies. But I wasn't about to lose. The so-called inspectors thought they had me figured out. They expected fear. They expected me to roll over, hand over my wallet, and maybe make a few angry phone calls later. What they didn't expect was a guy with a cheap notebook, a roll of tape, and a bottle of blue food coloring. After the Everpure clowns left my house, I headed to the craft store. Not the hardware store, no, that would have made sense. Instead, I walked into this pink and glitter wonderland that smelled like potpourri and looked like a unicorn had exploded. But I wasn't there for ribbons or scented candles. I was there for weapons. I grabbed 3 things: a pack of tiny spy cameras, each no bigger than a sugar cube. The clearest, thinnest tape I could find, practically invisible. And 1 little bottle of concentrated blue food coloring. My shopping basket looked like I was about to throw the world's saddest birthday party. The cashier gave me a weird look. I smiled and said, "Bird watching." Yeah, he didn't buy it. When I laid everything out on the kitchen table, Sarah folded her arms. "Okay, what's all this? You starting a detective agency or building a model airplane?" "Detective agency," I said, holding up one of the cameras. "I'm going to prove this whole thing is a scam." She sighed. "That long? Oh boy, here we go, sigh I know all too well. Mark, why not just hire a real company to test for mold? If they say it's clean, we show the HOA. Done." "Not good enough," I told her. "That only proves my house is fine. I want to prove they're liars. I want to catch them in the act." Her eyebrows lifted. She knew I wasn't backing down. Here was the plan. Step 1, the seal. I cut a fingernail-sized piece of that invisible tape and stuck it right where the living room vent cover met the wall. If anyone opened it, the seal would break. My invisible tripwire. Step 2, the trap. I placed a paper towel at the bottom of the duct, then carefully dropped a single dot of blue food coloring in the center. Just 1. If they sprayed anything into the vent, that mist would blow the dye, splattering the grate from the inside. 1 tiny blue stain equals proof. Step 3, the eyes. I planted my little cameras, 1 hidden in a fake plant aimed at the door, 1 on the bookshelf pointed at the vent, and another perched on top of the cabinets with a wide view. Motion activated, all feeding straight to my phone. And finally, my notebook. I logged everything. Times, dates, names on the inspector's vests, the tag Karen slapped on my door, even photos of the vent before I sealed it. It felt obsessive, but something in my gut told me I'd need every scrap of it. 2 days passed. Nothing. The red tag still screamed from my door. My neighbor Trent wasn't so lucky. He forked over $5,000 after Everpure tested his house. Later he told me, eyes wide, that they showed him a petri dish completely black with mold. Poor guy had no clue he'd just paid $5 grand for a scare tactic and maybe some noise from a vacuum. On the 3rd morning, my phone rang. HOA office. A sweet, syrupy voice told me there was a sudden issue with the water main, residents needed to evacuate for a few hours. That was it. The excuse they needed. I told her we'd be out in 10 minutes. Hung up. Looked at Sarah. Showtime. We drove right past the Everpure van parked around the corner, waiting like vultures. They thought I was gone. They thought I was just another sheep. But instead of leaving, I parked down the street, out of sight. Pulled up my phone. Split-screen camera feeds showed my living room, the door, and the vent. Beside me, Sarah chewed her thumbnail. "Mark, are you sure about this? What if they see the cameras?" "They won't," I said. "They're looking for mold, not a tiny black dot on a bookshelf." Truthfully, my heart was hammering. This was either going to be brilliant, or really, really dumb. Then it happened. The front door camera flickered. A key turned. The door swung open. Gary and his jittery little sidekick slipped inside. No uniforms this time. Just 2 regular guys breaking into my house, because that's exactly what they were doing. "All right," Gary muttered, smug as ever. "Let's get this done." Adler was a real pain. "Make sure this one comes back black as night." His buddy nodded, dropping a duffel bag. Out came a spray bottle and a fresh petri dish. I hit record. Every word, every move, all saved to my phone. Gary crouched at the vent, screwdriver in hand. Clumsy. He had no clue about my tape seal. The second he pried the cover off, I knew it was broken. Phase 1, success. "Here," he barked. His partner handed him the petri dish. Gary slipped it inside the duct. "Now spray it good." The smaller guy leaned in, gave a few pumps. A fine gray mist puffed into the vent, exactly like I'd predicted. And then, boom. My plan worked. On the camera feed, I saw it. A faint blue smudge on the inside of the white grate. My die. My smoking gun. Gary froze. What the hell is that? Fidgety leaned in. What is what? That spot. It wasn't there before. Panic spread across his face. He tried rubbing it away with his thumb, but it was on the inside. Untouchable. Forget it, Gary snapped. It's nothing. Let's go. They thought they were in the clear. They thought the weird blue mark was just a fluke. They had no idea their entire scheme had just collapsed. Because right then, the door opened again. Karen Blake strode in with her shiny key and her ever-present clipboard. And then she froze. 2 uniformed officers were sitting calmly on my couch, coffee cups in hand, body cams recording. Karen's eyes went wide. Her clipboard slipped from her hands, papers scattering across the floor like confetti. "Good morning," Officer Garcia said evenly. "Ma'am, HOA rules don't give you the right to enter someone's home without consent or a warrant." Inspector Singh stood beside him. "Posting fake health tags? That's not an emergency. That's a crime." From outside, a siren chirped. Backup cruisers rolled up to the curb. Officers fanned out across my lawn. I walked up my path like I was stepping onto a stage. This was my set. My script. Inside, Gary and his sidekick looked pale, their bravado gone. Outside, the squad cars glowed red and blue. Inspector Singh crouched at the vent, gloved hands careful as she removed the cover. She held it up. "There it is," she said, pointing to the faint blue stain. "Just like you said, Mr. Adler. That dye wasn't there before." I nodded. "I've got the pictures to prove it." She slid the vent into an evidence bag, sealed it tight. And just like that, my trap was sprung. "Vent grate with unknown blue substance, collected at 10:14 a.m., Singh says, sealing the bag. She writes the label in neat block letters, then reaches deeper into the duct. Out comes the petri dish Gary planted. Into another bag it goes. Next, the folded paper towel, blue-dyed, obvious. Officer Garcia bags the gray spray bottle from their duffel, notes the time, and signs the chain of custody form. Every move is logged, every item documented. This is no longer me versus them. This is the city versus them. Gary is sweating, his eyes darting to the door. Garcia notices. He steps forward, casually blocking the exit. "I wouldn't," Garcia says, calm but edged. "Right now, it's just questions. If you run, it becomes something else." Kevin, the fidgety one, looks ready to cry. His hands knot together, white-knuckled. He keeps glancing at Gary, desperate for a plan. But Gary has nothing. His whole hustle only worked on people too scared to fight back. With cops and evidence bags staring him down, he's powerless. Singh straightens, ice in her voice. "One question. That mist you sprayed, what's in it?" Gary stammers. It's a standard atmospheric compound for testing, really?" Singh cuts him off. "Because we're going to test it. We'll test everything, the grate, the dish, the air in this room. And if we find you deliberately introduced a contaminant? That's fraud. And a public health violation. Both come with steep fines. And jail." The word jail hits like a hammer. Kevin squeaks and sinks to the floor, pale as chalk. Gary just stares, mouth slack. I can't help it, I almost smile. My stupid little plan with tape and food coloring actually worked. It worked perfectly. I caught them, not red-handed, but blue-handed. Garcia flips open his notebook. "All right. IDs. Work order from the HOA. And then you're going to tell me who sent you." Gary deflates. No more swagger, no more smirk. Just a bully cornered with no way out. He reaches for his wallet with trembling hands. At the dining table, Singh opens my laptop. "You said you've got emails from Karen Blake." "Whole folder," I say, pulling them up. Dozens of them. First, a vague, community health alert, seeding fear. Then one warning of black mold in a nearby neighborhood, pushing proactive inspection. And finally, the clincher, subject line emergency action required. Karen citing HOA bylaws, declaring a public health emergency. And at the bottom, her recommendation: the board has contracted Everpure Environmental, a state-certified remediation specialist. State-certified, Singh mutters, snorting. "We'll see about that." She plugs in a thumb drive. "With your consent, we'll copy the lot. Police can subpoena HOA servers if we need the originals. We save every word, every threat. It's a perfect paper trail." Meanwhile, Garcia takes a call, then grins. "Interesting. My partner just ran the plates on the Everpure van. Registered to a Dennis Cole. Brother-in-law to your treasurer, Bill Reading." I shake my head. Of course. A family business, neat little loop. Karen pushes fear, Bill signs checks, Dennis collects the cash. Garcia rifles their folder of invoices. Reads off names. Gable Henderson. Trent Phillips, he glances up at me. Trent's my neighbor. Paid them $5,000 yesterday. Garcia nods grimly. 8 houses in 2 days. 40 grand, just like that. Gary flinches. Kevin whimpers. For the next hour, we copy everything, emails, invoices, fake work orders. Singh has me write a sworn statement, every detail from the red tag to the blue dye. I sign it. Another nail in their coffin. Finally, the bags are lined up by the door. Singh zips her kit shut. Next stop is the lab, she says. Once we confirm the spray and the dish, the DA will have fraud and conspiracy locked tight. And in the meantime, Garcia adds, we'll have a chat with Mr. Cole and Treasurer Reading. He turns to the 2 crooks. You're coming with us. They shuffle out, small and broken. Gary shoots me a look full of venom. If looks could kill, I'd be dust on my doorstep. I just wave. Send me a postcard. Sarah hugs me hard, relief spilling out. You did it. You actually did it. We did, I say. But it's not over. Karen's still out there. Singh presses her card into my hand. HOA meeting tomorrow, right? I nod. Be there. And tell your neighbors to bring their invoices. That's when I see it. The plan. The trap within the trap. Karen Blake still thinks she's in control. Tomorrow, her precious meeting will become her public execution. Shut up, Bill. Shut your mouth. But he can't. The dam bursts. Words spill everywhere. She came to me a month ago, Bill blurts. Said she found a way to pad the reserve fund. Easy money. $1,000 a house, kickbacks from Everpure. She told me to sign the checks, no questions. His hands shake as he fumbles out his phone. I've got the texts. A few frantic taps. My phone buzzes. Sarah's buzzes. Trent's buzzes. Then the whole room. Bill has blasted the entire thread to the community mailing list. On my screen, Everpure is a go. Start next week. Make sure you process invoices same day. And the killer, just tell people their houses are poison. They'll pay anything. It's like printing money. Silence. Then the roar. Neighbors leap to their feet, shouting her down. Thief. Liar. Criminal. Karen stands frozen, face drained of color. Her kingdom has fallen in real time. Her treasurer, her partner, just burned her alive in front of everyone. For the first time since all this started, Karen Blake looks small. Defeated. The neighborhood goes quiet after that. Red tags vanish. The Everpure van never comes back. It feels like holding our breath, waiting for the hammer to drop. On Wednesday, my phone rings. Unknown number. I almost don't answer. Mark Adler? Yes. This is Inspector Singh. I've got the preliminary lab report. My stomach flips. This is it. The petri dish from your vent? It cultured positive. Aggressive black mold. But, she pauses, and I can hear the smile in her voice. It grew too perfectly. Too fast. Like a sample from a textbook. So we tested the gel itself. Mr. Adler, the dishes were pre-inoculated. The mold was already inside before it ever entered your home. I pump my fist in the kitchen. I knew it. Sarah gives me a triumphant thumbs up. And the spray? Singh continues. Harmless. Water, dust, and a few common spores you'd find anywhere. Just a prop. The real evidence was always in the rigged dishes. Fraud, nailed shut. An hour later, Garcia calls. His voice buzzing. Mark, you won't believe this. We pulled pool camera footage from the morning it started. 5 a.m., Everpure van rolls up. Minutes later, Karen Blake's car. Dennis Cole gets out carrying a cardboard box. Hands it to Karen. She gives him an envelope. Then pops her trunk, gives him a different box. Then they both drive off. The swap, I whisper. The swap, Garcia confirms. The dirty dishes for the clean ones. All on video. Kickback in the envelope. It's beautiful. By nightfall, the DA signs the warrants. I don't see the raid, but Garcia paints it for me. Everpure's office, a dingy storefront in a strip mall, blinds yellowed, ashtrays full. Not a lab, a boiler room. 4 officers walk in. No battering ram, just badges and paper. Dennis Cole opens the door. His face collapses. Inside, stacks of fresh red tags. Pre-printed $5,000 invoices with blank names. And the jackpot, Cole's black ledger. Addresses on the left, payments in the middle, and on the right, $1,000. Every entry marked with the same initials, K.E.B. Karen Blake. The fraud detective closes the book. You're going to need a very good lawyer. Cole just sinks into his chair. Meanwhile, another team knocks on Karen's perfect door. She answers, sees the warrant, and doesn't argue. Just nods. The Queen of Lakeview Meadows steps out in handcuffs. No clipboard. No smirk. Just small, finally caged. The rest isn't fireworks. It's paperwork. Karen, Dennis, and Bill all take plea deals. No trial, too much evidence. They get probation, massive fines, and, best of all, lifetime bans from serving on any board. Karen's reign is officially over. The HOA scrambles, then rebuilds. At the emergency meeting, the mood shifts, determined, not angry. We vote Karen and Bill off. Elect normal people, neighbors who just want peace. Someone nominates me for president. I laugh. No thanks. I didn't do this for power. I just wanted to protect my home. The money comes back, too. Insurance pays restitution under pressure from the DA. Every neighbor gets their $5,000 check. Trent runs over, waving his like a golden ticket. Mark, you were right. I can't believe it. Relief on his face is the real win. We pass one last measure, the Adler Amendment. Embarrassing name, but I'll take it. It's simple, no HOA emergency entry without a written order from a city agency or a judge. Period. No more red tags. No more fake emergencies. Power goes back where it belongs, with the homeowners. Life settles. Lawns trimmed. Trash collected. But something's different now. People wave. People talk. People look out for each other. Not just houses anymore. A community.